Oi oi people, Silky here and welcome to the Life a Musician podcast. A podcast I created to help empower my fellow DIY musicians by sharing valuable insights into how to market and monetize your music independently. The Life a Musician podcast is brought to you by my artist services company, Hookins Management. We specialise in helping DIY musicians on smaller budgets grow and monetize their fan bases. You can check out more information on the music artist services we offer and book a 1-hour video call with me for some free advice on your music career at hookinsmanagement.com. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about why right now is a great time for artists to be pursuing a career in music. I'll start by saying that probably the most exciting reason as to why right now is a great time for artists to be pursuing a music career is that you no longer need gatekeepers to reach an audience for your music. Thanks to all the online tools available to musicians that can be used for marketing and monetizing your music independently, the direct-to-fan model is thriving more than ever. If an artist has good marketing in place that promotes their music video content to a focused target audience on one of the paid social ad platforms like Meta, YouTube or TikTok, they can reach hundreds, even thousands of potential new fans daily for as little as £5 to £10 per day. Better still, they can monetize this new audience quickly by offering them free plus shipping product offers on signed CDs. This is where the customer only has to pay the postage and packaging cost to receive a CD that's RRP has been discounted to zero. Not only is this a great deal for a new fan, as they only have to pay a small postage and packaging charge to receive a signed CD album that would usually cost say £12 plus shipping, but the artist wins too, as CDs are a low cost item to produce, meaning there's often still a small profit margin in the postage and packaging charge. This can help the artist recoup some of their ad spend and also enable them to build their own list of customer data to help them stay directly connected with their audience through methods like email, text and WhatsApp. In my experience, building an audience like this is a far more cost-effective way of building a fan base than the old school way of getting out in a van and playing anywhere and everywhere for low, if any, fee just to try and get your music in front of anybody. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying musicians shouldn't work hard on the road and take on shows that are sometimes lost leaders in the form of things like low paying but profile boosting support slots and new band slots at festivals to gain more exposure, but musicians can now be more strategic on what shows they take on, as there are now other ways to get in front of an audience without having to lose a substantial amount of time and money on the road just to try and get noticed. This has been massive for my band Death of Guitar Pop, who have built a large portion of our audience through paid Facebook ads over the past 6 years, and also other bands I have helped through my artist services company, Hookins Management. For example, a band I work with called The Bracknell sold out their debut headline self-promoted tour early last year, and more recently sold out the 750 capacity Earth Theatre in London, which was also an entirely self-promoted show. The fact that you can literally pick music artists in the detailed targeting section of Meta Ads Manager so you can show your content to the engaged fan bases of your affinity artists is a huge marketing opportunity for musicians. For £10 a day, DIY bands like the Bracknell are able to reach hundreds of fans of the bands that inspired them, like Oasis and The Verve, and grow their fan base on an automated basis each day. We ran fan growth ads like this for the Bracknell consistently for 18 months, and then when the band went out on the road to headline a 6-date self-promoted tour of 250 cap venues in the UK and Ireland, they sold out in advance. There's not many unsigned bands that can say that their first ever so-called toilet tour was packed every night and profitable, but this shows that if you make the upfront investment in the fan growth ads on the socials, with patience and persistence, it's possible for a DIY band on a much smaller budget compared to bands on bigger labels to build a fan base that leads to higher demand for live shows. One of the first bands that were real trailblazers of this model were the Hunter, who scaled it all the way to a headline show at legendary 5,000 capacity London venue Brixton Academy. Another great thing about the modern music business is we're in an ecosystem where artists are helping other artists more than ever. The current climate has forced artists to be more self-sufficient and learn new skills such as studio production, camera operating, video editing, social media marketing, live promoting and so on. Artists are more entrepreneurial than ever before, and therefore in many cases have a more diverse set of skills beyond writing and performing. As a result of this, there's more useful, affordable services out there that bring some kind of value to musicians than ever before. This has also helped creatives like me earn money in other areas off the back of all the hard work I've put into developing my business and marketing skills in order to grow my own music career, as now I'm able to offer services like marketing and mentorship to other DIY musicians. The other thing I want to highlight that's really encouraging for us DIY musicians is how so many artists are now adopting the paid fan club subscription model as the financial backbone of their artist business. We all know it's tough to make money from your fan base through streaming royalties, but a counter approach to the harsh reality of this is to create a paid subscription fan club through a platform like Patreon, Bandzoogle or ClickFunnels as a way to offer unique, exclusive merchandise and perks to your most dedicated fans, and in turn create yourself predictable, recurring monthly income from your music. A small fan base of 300 die-hard fans that are happy to pay you 10 quid a month for exclusive content would generate you £3,000 monthly income from your music. More and more artists are now cottoning on to the fact that if they first focus on the value their artist business can obtain from just a few hundred die-hard fans, rather than striving for the vanity metric of multiple thousands of monthly listeners on Spotify, then they can actually make some good money as a small independent artist and turn their art form into a financially sustainable business as soon as they have a few hundred true fans that want to support what they do. Oi people, Silky here. I hope you're enjoying the episode. I just wanted to take a short break to tell you about a fantastic mastering service I recently used for my band Death of Guitar Pop's forthcoming album, Be Lucky. Jake from Decent Mastering was a joy to work with from start to finish, and we're so happy with how the final masters of our songs are sounding. Jake is currently offering an incredibly fair pay what you want mastering service to all independent musicians. So if you're an unsigned artist that's on a budget, be sure to hit up Jake for a great service at an affordable rate. Check out decentmastering.com for more info. Whilst we're on the subject of extremely useful services for independent musicians, I've got to tell you about another great company that Death of Guitar Pop has had the pleasure in dealing with recently, and that's TMT Band Merch. These guys have supplied us outstanding quality merchandise at a very reasonable rate for events like our Australian tour, our big headline show at London's Electric Ballroom, and throughout festival season this summer, helping us serve our loyal fan base with pucker merchandise whilst making money as a DIY band in the process. TMT Band Merch understand budget can be tight for smaller artists and offer special discounted rates for DIY musicians. I have to say their customer service has been incredible, and will continue to use them for the foreseeable future for all of Death of Guitar Pop's merch needs. If you want high quality band merch at a cheap price with fast turnaround times, go to tmtbandmerch.co.uk and tell them Silky sent ya. Now, let's get back to the podcast. Another reason why it's a great time to pursue a music career goes back to the original point that I made about not needing gatekeepers. If you find a good niche market for your music and build social media presence within that niche, then you can tour around the world without a big named booking agent or promoter. My DIY band, Death of Guitar Pop, has built a huge following playing ska music, which is a popular genre within the mod and skinhead subcultures, and as a result we've been booked to play shows in countries such as Australia, Germany and more recently the USA. None of these shows have been booked through a big named promoter or agent. Instead, small grassroots promoters around the world have picked up on what we're doing for our social media pages, and we've been able to cut direct deals with them to get the band overseas without having to rely on any of the traditional music industry routes for getting a band like us on the international circuit. We've done it without a record label tour support budget or a worldwide industry network. The points that I've gone through today that present a case for why the modern era is a great time to pursue a music career are just a snapshot of the many pros for us DIY musicians. So much so that I'll be recording a part 2 to this episode to shed some more light on why right now is such a good time to be building a business around your music. To conclude things for now, I would say that all the points that I've covered in today's episode have proved that we're in an exciting new era for music artists, whereby if they embrace their inner entrepreneurship, they can thrive independently. Pre-social media, the music industry was made up of two main types of artists. The first being struggling artists that were unsigned and looking for a break from a gatekeeper, and the second being mainstream artists that had been let in by the gatekeepers at record labels, who helped them gain mass exposure from all the traditional channels like radio, TV, press, high profile supports and festival appearances. Nowadays, a huge middle ground has opened up, where artists can operate independently by using the many online tools available to reach their target audience directly and build successful small businesses around their art without having to pursue a record deal as the only route to music career success. Keep an eye out for part 2, where I'll be discussing more reasons as to why right now is a great time to be pursuing a career as a music artist. And don't forget, if you'd like to book a 1-hour video call with me for some free advice on your music career, simply get in touch by emailing info@hookinsmanagement.com or DMing Hookins_management on Instagram. Nice one.